Greetings, team owners, and welcome to Week 2 updates of the League version 2010. This is your Commissioner, Steve Lorenzi, speaking. I'd like to get started with matchup number 1, and that was my team, the Monkey Knife Fighters, going against Sam Horton's greatest show on paper. Sam's team beat my team at a score of 136 to 108. The 136 points scored was a week high total, so Sam gets the weekly Owner of the Week honors, and a special congratulations on that one because last week he was the GOAT of the week, so that's a nice way to turn things around. A special note, Sam had 3 Eagles playing in that week, and all 3 of them showed up to play, so that's nothing to sneeze at either. It was good to see that you put a gamble and you put 3 Eagles in there, and it could have gone the other way for you, but congratulations on a very good and well-deserved win. Moving on to matchup number 2, the Queen's Gravediggers versus the Boeing 747. And the Gravediggers beat the Flightless Bird 97 to 59. Blowout of the week goes to Will Cawthron, owner of the Gravediggers, as he beat George Blackshaw's 747 by a point differential of 38 points. Widest margin of week 2 so far, so congratulations on that blowout of the week, and that's a good way to improve from last week. Will had the close call of the week last week, and so he definitely improved, and congratulations on that. That's also a good win. He was led by the Steelers defense. They scored 20 points, nice amount there, and in contrast, Robert Meacham had a goose egg. Notable bench players were Kevin Walter, Dustin Keller, and the Bengals defense. They respectively scored 20, 17, and 11 points. Pretty dangerous that you still were able to pull off that win and have those guys on the bench. And congratulations on starting the season off 2-0. I know there's going to be people out there gunning for that first loss to give to you, and I think there's 2 other teams in the league that are 2-0 this week. So congratulations on that. George Blackshaw, 50-something points for the 2nd straight week. I mean, you got to improve on that. If you don't score high enough, you're going to put yourself in the same position week in and week out. Use the waiver wire, find a trade, pick up free agents, figure out a way to improve that squad of yours, so on and so forth. Steven Gostkowski, kicker, -2 points. Brett Favre, 3 points. I know that's probably not going to happen all the time, but still, Sam Bradford did score 12. I know it's a tough call. Who's going to put Sam Bradford in place of Brett Favre, but whatever. Let's see. The Bears defense had 6 points. Sean Green and Jonathan Stewart, 9 points combined. It looked like the whole team really wasn't on that day. What are you going to do? Congratulations, Will, on a good win. Moving on to matchup number 3, Josh and his Barrio Latin Ballers versus Cliff Fulmore and his Bubble Burner. Josh pulled off the win, 91 to 65. Some notables here. Adrian Peterson finally showed up, getting 25 points in spite of Brett Favre's faulty play. However, Hines Ward did get a goose egg. That's never a good thing. A bench notable, Donovan McNabb, had 21 points. Pretty decent showing. You might want to give some consideration to putting him in your starting lineup at some point other than a bye week. And for Cliff, who's starting off 0-2, and Cliff was in the final last year, losing to Wagner Blackshaw and his African Savage Stinks. Cliff, you're starting off 0-2. I know you like to take a wait-and-see approach, but I think it might be time to figure out some waiver wire acquisitions, free agents, trade talks also. You got to improve your team. You got to be in it to win it, whenever cliche fits. Some notables for Cliff: 60-something points for the 2nd straight week, and I don't want to reiterate what I just said about 747, but you're going to have to up the ante when it comes to points if you want to improve. Heath Miller, goose egg. Jay Feely, 1 point. I know he's a kicker, but there's some kickers in free agency that are getting more than 1 point a game. Reggie Bush is hurt, and no backups on your roster from what I can see. Some notable bench players. Mark Sanchez scored 22 points, and I guess no running backs equal trouble or trade. You make the call. Congratulations, Josh, on a good win. Matchup number 4 pitted the 2-time defending champion African Savage Sphinx and the New Rock Mafia Busters. Wagner's team ended up winning that game 82-72. It was close. It all came down to a Monday Night Football game, and Frank Gore went bonkers. He scored 29 points. In spite of Flacco scoring 2 points, Garcon scoring 1, Berrien scoring 2. Blackshaw moves to 2-0. Now he's well on his way to defending that championship, and we should all be gunning for him. I know I am. Some notable bench players. Darren McFadden had 15 points. Mark Clayton had 14 points. Vince Young, -1. Can you say Kerry Collins? Let's look at what happened here with the New Rock Mafia Busters. Drew Brees scored 18 points, and that's a decent game for Drew Brees. It's probably going to be what he does more or less for the duration of the season, but we all know that one man does not make a team. You're going to have to figure out a way to improve that squad. Your starters need to step up. Kicker Rob Baronis scored as much as Ricky Williams and Greg Jennings. Not combined, but Greg Jennings and Ricky Williams had the same amount of points respectively as the kicker did. I don't even know how the game was that close to begin with, but let's move it on. On the bench, some notables. 3 players scored on your whole bench. That's not acceptable. No quarterback starters on your bench. That's unacceptable. Matt Leinart backs up Matt Schaub. A news flash in case you didn't know. All right. Good job, Wagner. Job well done. Good win. Moving on, matchup number 5. Oh, and pardon me, but Wagner Blackshaw this week won the Close Call of the Week award, so congratulations on that as well. Moving on, matchup number 5 pitted Team Chucksters versus the Mount Vernon Chunky Bulldogs. The Chucksters pulled it off this week at a score of 81-70. Congratulations, Charlie. It was a good win, close game. Could have gone the other way, and I think we all know why. Javid Best was on the bench for the Chunky Bulldogs, and you're lucky that was the case, Charlie. But in any event, those are the choices we make. This is the business we've chosen. Congratulations on a very good win. Some notables from Charlie's roster. Aaron Rodgers scored 26 points. Very good game. Clinton Portis had 15 points. But Jabbar Gaffney, interestingly enough, he scored 1 point. And as a side note, the commish was pretty interested in Jabbar Gaffney while he was still a free agent post-draft. I really wanted to pick him up, and I was a little salty when you picked him up, but it was a real good pickup. It's unfortunate that he only got 1 point for you. I don't think that's going to be the case every week, but anyway, very nice job. Good win. Bench notable, Mike Sims Walker scored 16 points. Also a very good receiver. The Mount Vernon Chunky Bulldogs, they fall to 0-2, and I have a soft spot for the other commish. I know he's better than this, Mark. I know you're better than this. Let's get some notables here. Matt Schaub, 29 points. Jeff Reed, 13 points. No one else was in double digits. The Giants D, a big fat goose egg, and it pains me to say that. It pains me to say that. Javid Best on the bench, 41 points. Tough decision. I know the matchup really wasn't there, and anybody else would have probably done the same thing. But still, 41 points, boy, that's tough to take. That's tough to take. There's a note here that with the exception of Matt Schaub, if you added up all the other players on your starting lineup, Javid Best scored the same amount combined, all your players, with the exception of the quarterback. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to rub salt in the wound. I just thought it was pretty interesting when I took a look at this stuff, so I figured I'd make a mention of it. Malcolm Floyd rode the bench. He had 16 points. Game didn't have to turn out that way, but then again, that's football. Congratulations, Charlie. Very good win. Our last matchup pitted the Samurai Pizza Cats versus Phil and his TC exiled Sentry, and the Sentry continue to be exiled. The Pizza Cat won this 70-47, and that moves her up to a record of 2-0. Congratulations, good win. Some notables for the Pizza Cat. Philip Rivers scored 23 points. Antonio Gates scored 17 points. Garrett Hartley, the kicker, scored 11 points, and it should be noted that last week the kicker scored -5 points. So kudos to sticking with the kid. He turned it around, And although the kicker's output, was not the deciding factor in this win, still a very good win nonetheless. 2 goose eggs for the Pizza Cat, Mike Williams and the Cowboys D. On the bench, the Falcons D scored 10 points. I would have went with the Cowboys D. I think anybody would have went with the Cowboys D considering their matchup instead of putting over the Falcons. But, whatever. A win is a win is a win. Good job. For the exiled Sentry, Eli Manning scored 13 points, and that was the high for the team. Darren Sproles scored 11 points, and there was 1 goose egg, a recent free agent acquisition of Devin Aromashodu. Ballsy pick. I like that. I like that I see somebody that perennially and historically is not that active this early on in the season for the free agency or waiver wire. Went out on a limb, picked up the Chicago wide receiver, and unfortunately this week it didn't pay off. Maybe next week it'll pay off. Hang in there, but let's not start a losing trend. On the bench, we had Alex Smith with 15 points. And a side note here, I see that all of Phil's running backs are backup running backs somewhere. So maybe everybody can rally around the troops and let's help Phil get some starting running backs. All right. I'm going to close now. And as you all know, the Giants lost a heartbreaker. And never like to see a Giant loss. It pains me to see a Giant loss. And it hurt extra because it was a nationally televised game. Sunday night matchup, and it was against his brother, and it was hyped, and everybody was talking about the Manning on Manning game, and brother versus brother and all that. And it just was terrible. The offensive line looked flat, and they were chasing Eli around all game. He couldn't get into a rhythm. So a big fuck you to the Indianapolis Colts defense, the Indianapolis Colts defensive ends, especially Dwight Freeney. Big fuck you to the Giant offensive line because you couldn't protect Eli. And, hopefully we come back next week and we make things right. In any event, for all you team owners, congratulations on the job well done for all of you winners. For everybody that lost, myself included, you know what you have to do. Make trades, pick up free agents, scour the waiver wire, improve where you can, stick with it where you can. And better luck next week. It's early in the season. There's plenty of time left for that championship run. So go Big Blue.